Popular leftist Harry Sisson goes on Piers Morgan Uncensored and essentially says that no high-ranking Democrat has likened Trump to Hitler or called Trump Hitler, which are we living in the same universe right now? Now, luckily he gets debunked right then and there on the show, but we have more to debunk this guy. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Today we're heading right over to this clip from Piers Morgan Uncensored, where, as I said to you, Harry Sisson, who's a popular leftist online, says that no high-ranking Democrat has really likened Trump to Hitler or called him Hitler. Name one. Let's watch.
By the way, I'd be happy to answer the question about whether or not a high-ranking Democrat has used this rhetoric. Who is Kamala Harris?
I know. I want you to answer all the questions. I want you to answer all the questions
for you. Who is Kamala Harris?
Wait. Answer all the questions I just gave you. And can you name me when Kamala Harris said that Donald Trump is Hitler?
Who was
when did Kamala Harris? Great.
Was Kamala Harris last year a high-ranking Democrat when she was?
When did Kamala Harris call Donald Trump Hitler?
October of 2024. Kamala Harris said on the campaign trail, Donald Trump vowed to be a dictator on day one. His former chief of staff said he wanted generals like Hitler's. Donald Trump openly admires dictators, including Adolf Hitler. Last October, that was said on the campaign trail from the Democrat.
Kamala Harris said this during the campaign, during the closing days of the campaign. It was her final campaign pitch. Is that high enough ranking for you? You guys, you supported her for president.
Exactly, because there have been reports
the person
that Donald
you
Trump
supported for president is someone
just relax,
who was campaigning by calling Trump Hitler.
Jack,
you're so disingenuous when you bring this stuff up. You can't even acknowledge the fact that your own candidate was all.
So often the show, like Piers Morgan Uncensored, which I've been on a couple times before, it just becomes like a little bit of a screaming match between all the different little talking heads on the show, which is one thing. But nonetheless, many high-ranking Democrats have likened or associated Donald Trump with Adolf Hitler. Not just them. The news media has done it. Hollywood's done it. It's been all over the place. And we've spoken many times on this show about how the idea of using the word Hitler, throwing around words like fascism, totalitarianism, the word like king, really makes the word mean nothing. And while we are on the other end of yet another No Kings protest that happened all over the United States, where thousands of people took to the streets to call Donald Trump a king and a fascist and a dictator, are we really going to say that this rhetoric is not circulating, that people are not likening him to Adolf Hitler on a consistent basis? Of course not. But Harry Sisson will try on Piers Morgan Uncensored, and really to no avail, because he immediately gets clocked on that. Let's keep watching.
And she's got a video about it. It's on her Facebook, or it's on her Twitter page.
Let me offer one here, which is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton literally compared Trump's rally in Ohio last week to Nazi leader Adolf Hitler's speeches. Speaking of the Texas Tribune Festival in Austin, she made reference to Hitler's speeches, which saw people raise their right arms in the air in the Nazi salute. I remember as a young student, trying to figure out how people basically got bought in by Hitler, she said. How did that happen? I'd watch newsreels and I'd see this guy standing there ranting and raving and so on. It happens all the time.
It does happen all the time. And you know what Harry really wants to say there is that those references were justified. They're not literally calling him Hitler. Trump is doing Hitlerian things. And he's basically going to say, well, he asked for that. They're not trying to say that he's literally Hitler, but if you're going to do something that is consistent with Adolf Hitler, then somebody's going to call you out for being consistent with Adolf Hitler. But still, let's get into this question of high-ranking Democrats referring to Donald Trump or likening him to Hitler. Here's a clip of Jasmine Crockett.
I don't think anybody in this debate can name me a high-ranking elected Democrat who has called Donald Trump Hitler.
I don't even know what to call him. I've called him so many things, but this wannabe Hitler for sure.
Ooh. Are we done yet? Are we done yet? No, we're not done. Here is another clip, okay?
Right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant.
Oh. Well, she didn't say Hitler. I guess she said tyrant. So I guess that doesn't really work or jive with Harry's question. We should just let that go. And I love how she says, as I said before. You know what? As I already let everybody know before, I'll just go ahead and say it again. Here's another clip of Kamala Harris.
Donald Trump has openly vowed, if reelected, he'll be a dictator on day one.
There we go. And we already saw that one referenced, luckily, but I just needed to show you some footage so that you could see it. And if it's not Democrat officials or, elected representatives, we also have our news media. Here's MSNBC. I'll show you some footage here, and then I want you to just read the little lower third on that. on that footage.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally.
Now listen to how they said that. Supporters of a different fascist leader. So they're saying, don't worry, he's a fascist leader. But this is a different fascist leader. And of course, they're talking about a pro-Nazi rally, as it is stated right there on that lower line on MSNBC. So there you have it. But wait, if you call now, we have more. This is from CBC News.
Let's talk about exactly the question that you're asking is one that I've been catching a lot of heat for answering on air, and we've been talking about this in the last week or two. You're talking about the propaganda campaign and the playbook of Trump. This is not new. This is not surprising. This is directly out of Hitler's playbook.
Boom.
This is out of an autocrat playbook.
Boom. Okay, let's move on to another clip.
A lot of people have tried to draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler and the use of the terminology like vermin and the drive that those men had towards autocracy and dictatorship. The difference, though, I think makes Donald Trump even more dangerous. And that
Now, people are drawing comparisons between Hitler and Mussolini. Actually, I think Donald Trump is worse. Okay, here's a clip from CNN.
In Adolf Hitler's manifesto, he wrote, "All the great civilizations of the past became decadent because the originally creative race died out as a result of contamination of the blood." He also links the poison, which has invaded the national blood, to, quote, an influx of foreign blood. The blood reference is also reminiscent of the chants by white supremacists in Charlottesville in 2017. And tonight, Donald Trump is now under fire for similar language about immigrants.
You really can't make this up. I mean, for how long have we all sat watching the news through the first term, through the battle of the second term, and now through this third occasion where Trump ends up winning the election? How often have we watched these individuals liken him to Hitler? Call him a fascist, call him a Nazi, a neo-Nazi, a white nationalist. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So now to go on a show and say that that just didn't happen, or try to really sort of confine the conversation to just high-ranking elected Democrats making that specific reference to Donald Trump is simply ridiculous. And I know that he's going on there to play a game and sort of represent his side, but let's be for real. Let's be for real. We've all been here. We all witnessed it. Now I'm going to show you another one. Here's Rep. Dan Goldman on MSNBC.
And there's no question that Donald Trump has visions, as we saw from his video with the unified Reich, which was a completely knowing and intentional inclusion in that video. Let's be real here. He is paving the way to become a Vladimir Putin or to become an Adolf Hitler or
How much more do you need? But if you need more, here's Hillary Clinton.
The world has been here before. People did not take the kind of threats that we saw in the 1930s as seriously as they should, including American journalists. You know, people were taking at face value that, oh, this can be controlled. He may have said some outrageous things, but, you know, the institutions will hold.
There you go. And if that's not enough, we have a familiar face, the lady that we saw earlier, yet again making a reference.
Is that we have long known that Donald Trump has revered the Nazis. He has revered Hitler.
You cannot make this up. I got to say it again. And just for shits and giggles, I'll play one more from CNN. Here's Don Lemon.
For Donald Trump and his folks to say, and J.D. Vance to say that it's Democrats who are causing this.
Right. You just heard J.D. Vance say that.
That's an issue. I wrote down some notes when I saw it. Do you mind if I read this?
Yeah, no. Because you know what? Actually, I want you to know you were sitting just off.
I was just sitting
offset when we played the J.D. Vance.
And I'll just get through some of it. So he's called everyone who works in this building the enemy of the people.
Yep.
Right. We had pipe bombs sent because he kept calling us the enemy of the people, and that CNN was fake news. Crooked Joe, Crooked Hillary, Crooked Kamala, Comrade Kamala, deranged Jack Smith, bird brain Nikki Haley, bloodbath if he's not elected. There won't be another election if he's not elected. Bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, poisoning the blood of our country, destroying the blood of our country, which was something that was Hitler-esque.
There you go. It was something that was Hitler-esque. Okay, so they're not calling him Hitler. They're saying he's like Hitler. They're saying he's working out of Hitler's playbook. They're calling him Hitler-esque. We've heard this over and over. And now there are some of us who I think are willing to understand right now that the word Hitler doesn't mean anything anymore when you throw it around like this. If you're consistently calling people who you disagree with Hitler, then guess what? The word Hitler has lost its power. But for others, it hasn't. And when they hear a totalitarian, when they hear fascist, when they hear dictator on day one, when they hear tyrant on day one, when they hear things like he's playing out of Hitler's playbook, or that he is going to be Adolf Hitler, or he wants to become Adolf Hitler, what would you want to do to somebody who's going to become Hitler? You would want to commit acts of violence. And what do we see in the wake of this sort of language? With Donald Trump, we've seen multiple assassination attempts. With Charlie Kirk, we saw a legitimate, successful assassination attempt with bullets that say, cash this fascist on them, which means your rhetoric is really landing with these individuals. We've seen a shooting at an ABC satellite office with accusations of fascism and wanting to go after fascists. We've seen shootings at ICE detainment centers, where instead of actually shooting ICE employees, which was the intent of the shooter, they ended up killing illegal immigrants. This rhetoric actually leads to political violence. You cannot throw around the word Hitler, because while some will recognize that your just flagrant and flippant use of the word makes the word mean nothing, others, it really means something to them. So to go on a show and say that this is just not happening, or insinuate that it's not happening, or insinuate that at the very least high-ranking Democrats have not used this comparison is absolutely ridiculous. And luckily, we have the receipts. So today I've gone ahead and shown you the receipts. You cannot take these people seriously, but unfortunately many do. And if you truly thought that the next Hitler was rising in your country to start a totalitarian regime that oppresses you, what would you do? Guys, those are my thoughts on this whole Harry Sisson situation, on this Piers Morgan Uncensored, and this whole point about the lack of comparison to Hitler, because clearly it's there. And luckily, we have all these videos to show everybody. So please share this to anybody who thinks this is not happening, because it is happening and it has happened. And here it is. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, do get out, but just respectfully. I encourage healthy debate on this channel. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.